let us continue. The figure here shows various stages or terminologies related to construction safety, such as unsafe condition, unsafe act, near miss, accident. And there is one more stage called incident, which can be placed in between near miss and accident. And unsafe, all these stages will be present in almost all projects and project sites. An unsafe condition means, as per this figure, there is a lifting arrangement, and we use a rope or a chain. Okay, if that is not of sufficient strength, then such conditions we can call as unsafe condition. Okay, so it is all up to the inspection team and safety inspectors or engineers or execution team or maintenance team to ensure whether everything is in good condition before we use it. Another example is some inspectors checking the condition of trains and compartments of trains and engines before it is when it comes to a halt or when it is about to start. Okay, so that is another example for that. An unsafe act means if there is a lifting operation and that area is to be cordoned off or it is to be isolated by providing barricade and all. So if it is not done, then we will be exposing people to risk. So it is not necessary that in all the cases there will be accident, or in all the cases that string will break and it falls down. It is only it is that it is an invisible thing. Like we will not be able to perceive whether we are exposed to a potentially risky environment unless and until it falls down, right? So this is called unsafe act. So this also should be avoided. And near miss means, what if that chain or rope breaks and it falls down, but there is no harm to the people as well as to the any property. So such cases are called near miss cases or narrow escape cases. And as per the safety rule, this also is to be reported. Okay. And now there is something which is not mentioned here. Incident means if this falls down at the same time, there is no damage to the individuals, but some property, there is some loss of property or damage to the property, like say some equipment got damaged or some material got damaged, and that can even result into some significant financial losses, okay, or other disruption of the work, you can say, in general. And then other one is if it is harmful or if it is hurting the people, then such cases are accidents. So classification of accidents in construction sites are broadly they are classified into fall from height and caught in between, struck by electrocution. These are also known as Focus 4 by OSHA. Okay, Focus 4 by OSHA. It doesn't mean that these are if anything goes wrong, if any accident happens in a construction site, it comes under any of these 4 types. No, it could be as if there is a possibility that some people, some workers may get exposed to some chemicals, okay, while in that construction. That is possible. So that doesn't come under this. Similarly, a riot or conflict between 2 groups is also possible. So, but these are the most common category of accidents in construction site, and this will differ from industry to industry and nature of projects. There will be variations in that. And for chemical industry, the primary reasons and causes of construction accidents, category of construction accidents need not be any of these. Okay, now coming to the fall from height, fall from more than 20 feet usually results in a trip to emergency room, but even low level falls can cause serious head injuries, according to the American College of Surgeons. Means it is not it's not about the height of fall, it is about how it how we fall. Okay, like because there are many cases where a worker falls from a very high level, from a very high large height, and then they got minor injuries, and at the same time, or no injuries, and at the same time some workers, they fall from very low level, have had some low level falls, but they got serious injuries. It is about the conditions, site conditions and other aspects. And median lethal distance for fall in 4 stories or 48 is 4 stories or 48 feet according to the reference book Trauma Anesthesia. So as per that, the median lethal distance means that distance for causing death, okay, height for causing death is approximately 4 stories or 48 feet. But I think it is just a value, but we better we need not go with that absolute figures and all. It will vary. And as per OSHA standard, it requires protection for construction workers working at height of 6 feet or more, and similarly work at height over dangerous equipment or machinery. So in these two cases, we are supposed to provide all the personal protection equipment or systems. Okay, 25% of the fatal fall include fall through existing floor opening and from non-moving vehicles and from aerial lifts and falls due to other persons also. These are the various contributing factors for the fatal falls, and this constitute approximately 25% of the fall from height. See that because of due to other person. Okay, so if we are very prepared and we are very careful at construction sites and we wear all PPE and all, still if the other person is not following the rules and safety measures, safety norms, then obviously there is a we are also in danger, right? So that's what it says. And now the causes of falls broadly, the causes of falls can be categorized into lack of safety equipment, and other one is improper training. So one is we need to have the equipment and other facilities, and other one is we need to be trained to use these facilities. Now when employees they work from height, the proper safety equipment must be provided, and the type of equipment needed will vary depending on nature of their jobs. It is absolutely critical that the job is assist and safety equipment is in place before the work begins. It is very, very important. So this is actually the fundamental primary role of safety department. They have to assess each and see from work breakdown structures. They will get to know what is the kind of work that will take place, and also the method statement will be provided. Even method statement will be provided by taking will be prepared by taking inputs from safety department also. That's another thing. Okay, now they'll be aware of how the work is going to get carried out, and then they will make necessary suggestions, and they'll provide necessary inputs for that. And then they have to ensure the guardrails and safety nets are in place, and these engineers they have to, or supervisors they have to provide with the necessary sufficient harnesses for all those people who work from height. Harness means we'll see it is actually a belt arrangement which is used to pull people, lift people. So that we'll see in the later slides. And whether holes are covered or guarded. See, when we work from at some high level platforms and all, there will be some gaps or some holes at the top, and which is to be provided or protected. Even you might have noticed in some construction sites, another example I can tell you, we might have dug some pit, say for wells or for any other purpose. We might have dug some pit in a large in the ground itself, and some people they may, when they are passing near to that pit, they fall into that pit. So these kind of accidents also happen. Now whether scaffolding is to be inspected, see there is a clearly defined methods for providing the scaffolding and all. It is to be provided on a very hard ground, and all the connections are to be in proper place. Everything are to be inspected before we start the execution of work. Okay, now so it actually requires some skill. So only skilled and experienced people can do this kind of work, scaffolding work and all. Otherwise it will result into serious accidents and all, ladder, etc. And improper training means if workers are not taught how to use safety safely, are not taught how to safely perform their jobs, they are at an increased risk for suffering accidents. And it is especially important for workers who do not speak English as a first language, and these individuals may require a translator training document in their first language and dangerous equipment. Okay, it's not about English, even at least some language. The people, they come from northeast and they come from Bengal or some places, and say communication, if if they don't know how to communicate, this can also lead to safety issues. And when equipment such as ladder or scaffolding is defective or is in poor conditions, then that can result into this. Now you see this image, somebody is climbing, and okay, there is a narrow escape, right? Now if you see that, can you identify what are the various unsafe conditions here? Like one is the climate itself. I think the weather is, he's working in a wet condition, wet environment, right? So there is a chance for slippery. And then the slope, if you see the slope of the roof, it is very, very steep. And then he was using multiple ladders to connect, and that way it was not connected properly. And so everything, and there is no harness or safety belt or system to which is tied anywhere. So he was doing in very unsafe, that was an unsafe act from right? He was not doing anything properly there, and now it was a sheer luck. And classification of accidents, second type is caught in between. Caught in between, as per OSHA, they are defined as the injuries resulting from persons being squeezed, caught and crushed, pinched or compressed between two or more objects or part of the same object. So if somebody got in between two two objects or equipment or whatever, or even something in the same equipment, we got caught. In such cases we call it as caught in between. And in excavations, we need actually to there is a potential risk of caught in between cases in excavations, where trained what is to be done is to employ some trained persons at site during the work, and we must have authority, and this person must have the authority to take corrective actions. This is very important. And then unguarded machinery. So when we work with some with a machinery, we have to ensure that it is guarded or it is protected. Okay, otherwise that will be risky. Say for example, concrete cutters or tile cutters and all that, you have seen that, that blade. So it is really, really risky. And drilling equipment, if it is not handled properly, then that can cause serious injuries. So it is to be guarded properly, it is to be kept away and things like that. And then caught in between objects, and do not allow employees to stand or pass between swinging equipment and barricade the area. See, I'll try to show you some pictures, like in some places and all, these laborers, they'll be traveling, they'll be traveling on the this bulldozer bucket and all. They'll be sitting on these bulldozer buckets or the backhoe of excavators and all, which they are not supposed to do. But these kind of things happen usually in construction and site, because one thing is that they are not so informed and they feel everything is safe, but there is a potential risk in that. And then caught in a piece of equipment or machinery. So in the same equipment, you might have heard some cases of പുല്ലരിയുന്ന യന്ത്രമൊക്കെ ഇല്ല, പുല്ലരിയല്ല, എന്തതിനെ പറയും, ഈ ചില യന്ത്രങ്ങളുടെ ഇടയിലൊക്കെ ആളുകളുടെ കൈയും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ മുടിയൊക്കെ കുടുങ്ങും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡ്രസ്സ് കുടുങ്ങും, എന്നിട്ട് ആളുകൾ മരണപ്പെടും, അപകടം, അങ്ങനെ എത്രയോ കേസുകൾ ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. സോ not just with this construction industry, with everywhere, there is a potential risk in handling equipment. So it is to be it's all about us to our knowledge in using that equipment, also about the good condition of that equipment that matters. And then classification of accidents, and third one is struck by or hit by. So as per OSHA, it is defined as injuries which is produced by forcible contact or impact between injured person and an object or piece of equipment. So if something comes and hits us, it could be a minor injury, or it could be a serious lethal injury. Okay. And then electrocution is death by electrical shock which is caused by exposure to lethal amount of electric energy, and death occurs from exposure to as little as 50 to 100 milliamperes of current. And non-fatal electrical injuries also occur in large numbers, and it can be caused by exposure to power lines or faulty equipment or so. And following electrical standards and proper inspection and training could reduce the electrocution related hazards. And I'm not explaining any of these things much in detail, because this itself is a 3 hours lecture, should be a 3 hours lecture, because there is so much to discuss. And since we have time, what I expect is I want you all to read about all these 4 categories and try to go through various examples and have a clear understanding about it. And then thereafter we'll move on to the next topic. Okay. And you have so many videographs and other things available in internet, electrocutions and all. I think try to get have your own reading and try to then we'll have discussions later at some stage. Okay, fine, thank you.